I want to see this Final Fantasy 16
but at a
preview.
recent hands-on event for Final Fantasy 16, it happened again. I felt that awe, that sense of colossal scale. But this time, rather than being a poetically beautiful battle, it was an explosive homage to anime warfare.
Final Fantasy 7 hands-on preview. So I just want to see what they thought about it.
The 2-hour demo was, according to developer Square Enix, a special version made for media to experience, and contents may differ from the final version. Pulled from around
you
5
remember the
hours
Prince of
into
Persia?
So that's gonna look real good. That's gonna look real good right there. You said what, bro? Yeah.
Story, the combat-focused segment contained a trio of boss battles that showcased
Oh, damn!
Final Fantasy 16's ambitious approach to scale. The first of these, a showdown with a spy named Benedicta, was a traditional human versus human clash that embraced the dexterity of this entry's new real-time action combat. There was the other two, much grander fights that really caught my attention.
Damn.
Final Fantasy 16 sees a number of kingdoms.
You can tell automatically that Yoshi P has something to do with this, man. It reminds me so much of Final Fantasy 14.
Caught
so
up
much.
in a war over magical crystals. Key to this war are icons, colossal monsters that
I noticed that every game is like deal with the crystals now.
if you're a Final Fantasy fan,
everything
you
is
may
always
know
deal with the
better
crystals,
as
right?
summons. In most previous games in the series, these deity-like creatures were effectively elaborate magic attacks, but in Final Fantasy 16, they are vital components of the plot and act as major boss battles across protagonist Clive's journey. One such icon is Garuda, a 20-meter tall bird-like creature summoned by Benedicta that wields the power of wind. As I dodged and weaved around Garuda's legs and wings, deflecting blows that would kill a normal man, the battle called to mind scenes from kaiju movies and anime like Attack on Titan. After dealing enough damage to stun her, I could fire a magical grappling hook into her jaw and yank her head down to the ground, opening her face up for a chain of hugely damaging attacks. There's something inherently exciting about fights this large, and Final Fantasy 16 seems to be fully committed.
Almost like a God of War and that thing. You over there just putting in there. Oh, Scott Pilgrim? Hell yeah, Scott Pilgrim's always the shit. I love Scott Pilgrim, bro. Like they didn't make a part 2 of Scott Pilgrim.
Possibly can.
Try.
That's not to say the game's strengths are only in these gigantic boss fights though. Much of the demo saw me storming through a castle while cutting down a whole garrison of swordsmen in the grittiest combat of Final Fantasy's 36-year history. Clive strikes with fury, impaling and even stomping on enemies that have fallen to the ground. That's not to say all the fantasy has been drawn out of Final Fantasy though, far from it. Magical abilities frequently coat the screen with vibrant particle effects. It's all a bit overwhelming at first, and the arcade-like UI that constantly spits out damage numbers is an ugly contrast against the world's otherwise
You said what, bro?
handsome art. But as
They
I
should make
settled
another
into
one,
the system,
but at the same time, rather than stay where they are, maybe continue making an anime series versus a movie. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, so you like the animated series a little bit more? I liked the actual one though. The actual movie, I liked it a lot.
the
bro.
blend of action and tactical abilities rewarding. It particularly came alive in the rapidly paced battle against Benedicta, who pushed me to make use of all of my many skills.
Damn.
None of your talents are rare indeed.
Clive is a nimble fighter, and each swing of his sword reminds you that Final Fantasy XVI's combat director is Ryoto Suzuki, best known for his work on Devil May Cry and Dragon's Dogma.
I already knew it.
Fast,
Yeah, I knew. I said it had to be somebody from. Yeah, that's what I said. That's why I said it had to be because you can tell, you can definitely tell from there. But I love that they brought the guy from Devil May Cry in to push it on side of it. That shit, man, that's exciting.
Flashy. The core fundamentals are pulled from Japanese action classics: dodges, parries, uppercuts, and combo attacks.
Yes.
But to top this is a magic system that sees you channel the power of different icons to unleash powerful special attacks.
Oh damn!
I had access to the power of 3 icons: the Fiery Phoenix, the Winds of Garuda, and the earth-shattering magic of Titan.
So I guess I'm taking it you're gonna have to beat these the ions in order to get their powers. I take it. I mean, what else? Unless you're just gonna have some type of extra power or something, you want to take a little bit of something. Yes, I like the movies with the classic, but I would hate for them to make another one and doesn't have the same charm as the first. I understand, yeah, because sometimes, like you said, sometimes you can make a really good movie and just not have that same effect. So I could definitely, yeah, the anime series would still be fire though. Oh yeah, I already knew. Yoshi P was produced for this. You could tell though.
Each summon on the fly. You could fire a blast of Phoenix Flames, for instance, before quickly swapping to Garuda to launch your target into the like battles typically reserved for cutscenes. That's never more true than in what is likely to become Final Fantasy XVI's flagship battle mode, Icon versus Icon. When Clive summons an icon, you're put in direct control of them, and each of these explosive clashes between gods are promised to be a unique experience with bespoke mechanics. The third boss of the demo, a beatdown between Garuda and the fire demon Ifrit, was something akin to a nuclear-powered wrestling match. Compared to Clive, Ifrit is a very simple fighter, with just a scant few brawling abilities. But this brawl makes full use of that blending between cutscene and gameplay to convey Ifrit's immense heft and strength. Each time I'd land a blow on Garuda, a new animation would trigger, my favourite of which was dragging my foe face first across a rocky landscape.
Damn.
It was a shallower combat experience compared to controlling Clive in the clashes with Benedicta and Garuda, but I can forgive that if the spectacle proves this wild each and every time. Playing 3 very different boss fights, as well as carving my way through dozens of regular.
Like, bro, for Final Fantasy 16, you know the people that made, why I can't think of the name, Devil May Cry. They have a part in this game as well. They have a part in this game as well.
Soldiers has left me with a lot of hope for Final Fantasy XVI, but this demo was purely combat focused, meaning I've yet to see much of its RPG credentials. This demo's generic medieval castle setting barely had any exploration opportunities, feeling mostly like a stonewalled route towards the next boss. But as previously mentioned, the contents of this demo may differ from the final version, and so I hope when more is revealed, we'll discover it has environments that are much more compelling to explore. Because should the story, exploration, and characters live up to what I've seen of the combat so far, then Final Fantasy XVI will be a JRPG worth being excited about.
Yes.
Control it, Clive!
For more looks at upcoming games, check out our previews of Crime Boss Rocket City and Kerbal Space Program 2. And for everything else, stick with IGN.
Well, that was definitely nice, bro. I think Final Fantasy is gonna be so good, bro. Which I think was good, bro. Welcome to the stream, man. I think Final Fantasy, I think it's gonna be like fucking great, bro. I really think it's gonna be like on